You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to and watching Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, as always, my co-host, Leah Pelka.
Hi.
Leah,
Hi.
she's back. And, you know, Sarah will be
Yeah,
filling in
glad to be
occasionally when things are down or whatever. But, I mean, we're looking at doing some other shows so we can incorporate some other girls. So if you guys are sad that Sarah's gone, she'll be in and out. Say hi to Sarah.
I know.
Hi, Sarah.
I know. I wish Sarah was here too.
I
I like
know.
Sarah. Sarah and I have so.
I
we
think
have so
if you girls
much
had it
fun
your
together.
way, it would literally be two girls and a guy radio, and that's it.
If
And
we
yeah.
could project our text feed, it would be amazing.
Yeah. So tonight we have a special guest, Lemar Joichin, and Ashley Shreve.
Hello, how are you?
Awesome. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So I met you through a friend. I met you online. And that sounded so bad.
eHarmony.
So much like
Another
Tinder.
testimonial.
So much like Tinder.
But we belong to a lot of the same groups, a lot of the modern male groups, a lot of the the date coaching circuits and forums, and I go on there to kind of like test the waters and see what people are interested in, what they're talking about. I try not to participate too much because it's too easy to get sucked into like internet
The
crap.
black hole, yeah.
Yeah, the black hole that is the net. But you were one of the only guys that I've ever actually seen post content that I was like, oh, hey, that's good. I like that. You know, it's you always had a really, really strong, good message.
Are you
and
saying
it was,
you have a man crush on him?
No,
That's
no.
kind of cute.
I'm gay for his content. No, but I mean, and that's the thing. It's like in a world of dating coaches, most guys kind of feel like their only place to go for coaching advice is the pickup community. Are these, sleazy, douchey, underhanded, twisted people? And then there's a lot of fashion advice online that you can get anywhere. But fashion advice kind of overwhelms guys. It can be really, really confusing. I know me, when it comes to me and fashion, man, that was an epic struggle for many years, okay? I did not just one day I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good with fashion. I sucked at fashion. Wow. So, yeah, you're going to have to give us some of your background and give us some of your background. And so what brings you on the show?
Again, my name is Lemar, and what brings me on the show is I'm here to re-educate, repurpose men into the game of fashion. Because most men don't seem to understand presentation is very important.
Amen.
In getting a young lady or a job interview or just anything, most anything in life. It's very important. So I'm here with my company, Styling the Modern Man, to re-educate about fashion and how easy it actually is.
He's not lying because a good suit's like male lingerie. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like, ooh,
Well,
it'll do something to a woman.
That's an interesting point, and I want to get back to that. But
Suited
let's
and
intro
booted?
Ashley,
Woo.
and then I'm going to talk about that because it is like catnip, but there's a
Hey.
but.
It is.
So go for
And
it.
I just realized
Be on
that
that suit and
all
tie.
three of our companies have the word modern involved in it, talking about modern male or there must be something that we're all on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it. But no, I actually did start off years and years ago in that PUA community that you had mentioned, and I'm one of the very few people. See, I actually looked at it from
One second. We got a caller.
Oh, that's
See if
okay.
we can
Are we
get
really
you.
going to take it?
Yeah, we're going to take
I
it.
feel like it's,
Caller, you on the air?
Hi guys, I'm on the show now. Hello, interrupting cow. Guess who?
Sarah! Yay!
Hey, I wanted to tell you guys that you are all on point fashionably tonight. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Thanks,
So,
Boo Thing.
I'm
My
actually not going to hang up on you,
compliment
Sarah.
to
I'm
all.
just gonna I'm gonna minimize this window, or I'll just leave it. So you can be on the show today.
Oh, fun.
Hey, I like it.
Hey.
Cool. So continue, Ashley.
Oh, anyway, so, but it was always just kind of I was really big into social science. I was just fascinated by it, and it was a great avenue to learn a lot of things, but it was, at its core years ago, the concept was good, teach men confidence is kind of a thing, but I won't go into the hour-long speech about why, but I evolved from there. I realized it was extremely limiting. It was a lot of very detrimental. And
The
stuff.
pickup
And
community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, and I tried talking to other people about it. They didn't really want to hear me. And so I kind of went off a few years ago, did my own thing, developed the Modern Gentleman into what I think the modern male actually should be today, which isn't a pickup artist, you know what I mean, or isn't, just some kind of misogynist or anything like that. So that's kind of how my company got its start, and just kind of denouncing that and trying to elevate men into, taking some of the good qualities there that they taught, your tone of speech, body language, things like that, but then also kind of elevating it into what's socially acceptable and what I believe a man should be in today's society.
I like it because alpha sometimes I feel like people that translates to ego, and it's not true.
Oh yeah.
And that's you're saying
and
you're teaching like no, that's not the same thing, because that's a big turn off. It's huge. So it's perfect that you're teaching
in my
that.
book, my two biggest things that I talk about that I say is like a man's worst enemy or modern gentleman's worst enemy is his ego and his pride.
Exactly.
And things like the PUA industry, what they do is they kind of perpetuate that, right? So they have this animosity towards women because they got rejected or dumped or something. So what they try to do is they try to like now conquer the women and win instead of having an actual desire to make a real connection with a woman.
I think like guys don't understand too, your insecurity is on mega blast. Like we can see you. Like it's not like we don't understand that you trying to take over and manipulate a lot of things is an insecurity.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it comes off as just like a pathetic female would.
And I talk about that specifically in my book, actually, like how the pickup community kind of, like, I talk about, this is actually in the fashion section, and I never put the pieces together, but the guys that were going out there in that kind of pickup fashion, I don't know if you remember this, but in the game, Neil Strauss talks about a time when he couldn't go out on Sunset Boulevard without seeing pickup artists
Absolutely.
just saturating the clubs. Well, it was around that same time that like I was out of the clubs, that other, and you run into these guys that were just kind of overly overdressed, in really loud, obnoxious fashion, and they're hammering girls with lies and lines that they half believe will work. And I was like, oh shit, maybe the pickup artists are the archetype LA douchebag. That, because the LA archetype, that's like the original fuckboy. Because I was putting all the pieces together, and I was like, yeah, like that would make sense, because that's what it is. It's that kind of insecure guy who's desperately projecting and overcompensating, and then also being a misogynistic asshole when he doesn't even believe it himself.
Here's what's pathetic. It works on some females who are less evolved.
Yeah, when
and
they're
it
drunk.
even breeds them into making them super petty. So then we end up with a whole bunch of super petty females, and we end up with a whole bunch of assholes. And it's just like, and then we end up with that reality television, and it's all entertaining to us. And it's just, that's what we saturate ourselves with.
Well, the biggest problem, and this is truly the biggest problem, because you have what you're speaking of, right? And then it evolved to the next step. So the next step is you have these guys that they did learn a few social skills, a couple special lines to say, or routines. They'd stack these routines and stuff and be the dancing monkey kind of a thing. And people just liked them because they were fun and entertaining and appeared to be confident, even if it was fake confidence. And so what happens was now all these guys wanted to be the next gurus. And what you see is in a world where the three of us, for example, with our own companies are trying to reach out there and actually help men. You see a world that's plagued by these like internet overnight gurus. They get their little $99 website. And I've even known people to hire people off of Craigslist and do like these fake infield videos like, look at me get this girl. Then you have these men that are, say, for example, they're just coming out of college. They have the good degree, but they still don't have the social skills. They can't find a wife. And they legitimately want to be able to get this part of their life handled, which is hard for a man to admit to himself that this is something. So he goes to seek out help. He sees his stuff online. He sees, oh, look at this guy. He has success. He must know what he's doing.
Right.
And they end up spending money and trusting their brain and their development with somebody who's, I say, the saying that I say all the time is that the doctors are sicker than the patients. And so then these guys end up walking away, being even more messed up than they were, hating women even more, thinking that they're more of a loser and stuff. And so that, it's a challenge for me personally, and I don't know, maybe for you as well. And but to try and get the message out there to the guys that actually want to learn it and say, look, like, no, this is your safe haven. This is where you come to. Don't go down this route, because you're gonna spend thousands of dollars and wind up more messed up than when you went into it.
What do you
So you
think?
guys, I have a question if I can jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
If, say, you can lead a horse to water, but can you teach it natural charm and swag?
Yeah, absolutely, because those are things that I learned over the course of time.
So where does it come from? Like, when you're growing up and you're watching your parents, like even in the bedroom getting dressed, like you watch your dad get ready for work, or you watch your mom iron his shirts or something like that. Like,
well, yeah.
Did you guys have any of that?
I never had that dynamic.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. My whole fashion game came from my family. My father, my grandfather, they all showed me this way.
Okay.
So the only way I know is this way. And again, I'm from the South.
You're from New Orleans. I knew it. I was like, hold up now. This isn't like I know what Sunday means to you in New Orleans.
Yes.
Wait just a minute now.
Yeah, so I grew up, punishment sometimes was polishing 30 pairs of shoes.
Dang, okay.
From my grandfather.
Wow.
So that was punishment. So I kind of got used to it. I liked it. I saw how they were well respected within the community. So it just kind of translated easily for me. So people just then began to ask as time went on, who's dressing you or where you do it? And I said, I'm doing this myself. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, it just came natural because I was around it so much.
Do you feel different? Like, do you ever go to the grocery store and dress down, and then like you see someone, it's like a high school reunion on accident, and you're like, I saw everybody I know today. I swear to God, I look like shit. And you just feel, is there a difference in how you feel?
No, my down is still up for most people.
Because, I mean, for me, with makeup, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know
That's happened to me before. You go out on a date, and she's like, I'm dressed really casual. I'm like, yeah, I'm dressed super casual, too. And I show up on the date. She's like, that's fucking casual for you?
You're right.
Oh.
But isn't that the worst, though? It's so, like, I guess it depends on where you live and your social circles, but there's a lot of times, let's just say, for example, you're single, you're going to go out on a first date with something. I teach, like, men, like, part of your responsibility on being a quote-unquote alpha, if you will, is to be able to lead, is to be able to answer those questions for her. So in other words, if I might not tell her where I'm going or something like that, might make it surprise and fun, and I say go on an adventure and make memories, but I'm going to allude to what she should wear so I know she's comfortable. Like, I'm going to answer those concerns for her. But the problem is...
Go ahead now.
That's good. That's good.
But the problem is that sometimes, like you'll, like you said, you'll run into situations where maybe just the way that she was brought up socially, what she thinks is acceptable for certain, and now she feels like you've outshined her. You're more better dressed than she is. Yeah. And and that can
ruin her night. So yeah, and I've done that before.
Happened a few times where the guy's like, babe, just dress casual, and so I actually do. I put on jeans and whatever, a t-shirt, and he shows up, picks me up, and he's in a suit. And I'm like, what is this about?
Okay,
so
that's a little different.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the guys that you hang out with, Sarah, no offense, they're a little insecure and weird.
I'm a second that, and I'm a third it, and I'm a fourth it right behind it. Like, girl, bye. You ain't got no word in this. Shut up.
I will speak to that real quickly, though. I've noticed that for a lot of guys that have grown up in single-parent homes with just the mom raising them, they have tried harder to be and act and, be more fashionable like a man. I've noticed that there's more effort rather than the ones that have, like, the little, platonic nuclear family, whatever. I've just noticed. I don't know why that is, but I guess it would make sense.
For me personally, it was because there was never any standard, so I really had to figure out what a man was, and I was able to kind of like brush through, every archetype. I was able to kind of index and go, oh well, I like that quality, but I don't like. And that's what modern male is. I kind of cherry picked all of the qualities that I thought were awesome from every different social genre or, whatever my father would have done. And it's like, you had the privilege of having a lineage
parents
of people that were like, hey, you should dress this way. Yeah. But if my dad had been a complete slob and had been, a complete womanizing piece of crap, and I had him in my life, I often think about that and how I might have turned out differently, or how that might have rubbed off on me. So I'm actually really, really kind of grateful that I didn't have a father growing up, because it allowed me to really expand and grow in the way that I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, it was slippery at times. I fell in the mud a few times, but I did end up figuring it out.
Do.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah, we all do.
So what do you think is the most important thing when it comes? Well, actually, I want to get back to one specific thing. So this is a theory, but I've been playing with this, and it seems to have validity. So like you said earlier, that dressing in a suit's like catnip for a girl, and I hear that all the
like
time.
Lingerie. Yeah. It's better than catnip.
Okay, catnip, lingerie.
Oh, child.
So,
when a man wear a suit or a suit wear a man. Ooh.
I've heard that from like every single girl ever. Yeah. But when I wear a suit, or I've noticed that when other guys are wearing suits and girls are talking about it, that's all they're doing is talking about it. It doesn't actually entice them to talk to them more. If anything, I've noticed in my personal experience that it's been more intimidating. Yeah. When I'm dressed really, really well, I actually don't do as well with women.
That's interesting because I.
You haven't found that?
Total
Okay.
opposite.
Okay.
My opinion is, if you see more average Joe and you're a lot more approachable to women. Now, I know we have 2 women on this line, so this could get really interesting. But if you think about it, if you were, let's just say you were out in a social setting, right, and you went to go approach a woman, and so if you're like the quintessential GQ type guy or whatever, that would be one scenario. Another scenario is, let's just say you're an average looking Joe and you're a great guy or something, but if her friend was like slut shaming her or giving her like the no look or something, even if she was still interested, but she didn't want to have to explain to her friends that she's interested or she might be embarrassed or something, it's a lot easier for her to turn around and be like, what was he wearing? Or something like that, and kind of like go along with that social setting. But if you come up, and you're obviously well put together, you're well mannered, you're clean, it makes it a lot harder for a woman that's being slut shamed or being judged by everybody in the club or the bar or something and she basically has to make that yes or no decision.
I think that could be one side of it. I also think that there's a big intimidation factor there, as well as that. I think that definitely could be a part of it for some women. I've heard personally when I've actually tried to get down to this is that women will be like, well, you're intimidating. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they'll be like, it's just too much. They're like, I need to go do something or whatever. Like they get all hot and bothered, but when women get all hot and bothered, they kind of like run to the little groups and run away. Maybe not you over there.
She's like,
she's over here like showing.
She's like, I got this. But most of your practice as you 2 ladies here on the line, a lot of your practice of how to deal with these guys when they come up to you are probably guys where you feel like you would be the one that's doing the intimidating. And so when you have...
Well, I can answer real quickly about just guys in LA wearing suits in general. I grew up here, so for me, seeing a guy in a suit, it means one of 3 things. A, he's going on a job interview because he doesn't have a job. B, he's going to a funeral or a wedding or some sort of, function that's for work. Or C, he is absolutely trying way too hard to impress me, and so therefore I'm going to be standoffish. It's just not the norm.
Well, I'm from the South.
I'm sorry.
Guys are
I'm from the South.
Sloppier in my experience.
Yeah.
And that's how, I don't know, maybe the comfort level, like Jerod was saying, like girls get, insecure around him. He's intimidating.
That is really interesting. I think you might have nailed that.
When I moved to LA, when I moved to LA, that was the perception. Am I going to church? Is somebody sick? I got that. I think it's the way you wear it. And again, it did frustrate me a little bit because I came here with suits. I mean, suits and wingtips
Right.
and the whole thing because I came from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And over there, it was very accepting and people really loved the way, you dress. Everyone was like that. So I came out here and
we also forgot modeling shoots or, on set. The guy was on set.
Yeah. And he kept the clothes.
And then he's an actor, so he's immediately untouchable.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. No, it took me a while to readjust my confidence and keep my suiting because I wasn't going to let that go. I mean, I added in more jeans and tees, but I didn't do the flip-flops and socks. I still don't get that concept yet. But
no one ever did.
I don't get that. I don't get the sagging. I just don't get it. But anyway, so it took me a while to kind of build up the confidence and readjust and reevaluate.
It's an interesting concept there, though, readjusting your confidence.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys, when you're coaching guys, you want to encourage them to be their truest, most authentic self, and you kind of want to, bridge them down right into their masculinity. But at the same time, a part of being a modern male, a part of being all of this is to wear stuff that's appropriate to wherever you're going out. And a lot of guys will kind of make an exception to that because they're like, well, I don't feel comfortable. That's not authentically me.
I've heard that too.
And it's like, you got to readjust your confidence.
Yes.
And that's an important thing. I think stepping outside your comfort zones often and really just going, hey, you know what? I'm going to dress like this today. I don't care. Like, I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah.
So continue because I want to hear more about that.
That's very important to step outside your comfort zone. I mean, in everything that, like the plaid pants I'm wearing, when I first saw them, I was like, I'm not wearing plaid pants. But I put them on and I said, I like these plaid pants. So I just, hey, Sarah, it's not funny.
You.
They look good.
We get you.
Yeah.
So there's things that, certain colors and textures and stuff like that you do have to at least, because a lot of men go, I don't want to do that. I don't like that color. I don't like that pattern. And sometimes you just have to just try it on and just go, you know what? It's not so bad. And or get the opinion. If the young lady looks at you and go like, really? Then you might go, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Even if you're not sure.
Yeah.
And if she goes like, I really like those, then you go, well, you know,
You're gonna
let
go
me-
buy another pair of plaid pants.
just at least one, to
Right.
put in the
Air color.
repertoire.
And that's
you know?
what, and that's, again, goes back to like what modern male is. It tests all of your everything. Test everything on the feedback of women. If you want to get the girl, test your dating advice on women. If you want to get the girl's eye, test your fashion advice on women. Like that's just it's common
But
sense.
on men with suits, for me, because I'm from the East Coast too, like when y'all were talking about that, when I see a man in a suit, I feel like that, like if a guy's an alpha male and he goes the extra mile to impress a female, well, your female's going to do the same thing. Like maybe I would wear lingerie underneath what I'm wearing and he knows that. And that's kind of, you kind of do that for each other. Like maybe that's something that that's how y'all get y'all sexy on. Like maybe it has nothing to do with anything else. Maybe y'all are both, so that's just foreplay. Like who knows?
Who are you?
What she's talking
The one
about,
who
I
keeps it
completely
interesting?
understand.
Yeah.
Because that is a conversation that, if I said, look, we're going out to dinner, I knew she'd probably wear a dress.
How much
and she'd
better would
probably
dinner
have-
be if you knew
she-
underneath?
Yeah,
there was
she'd
some
probably have
stuff
on
happening,
lingerie.
You'd be like, Lord God,
Yeah.
where's this check?
Right.
Like, get me
serious.
to
I
this
knew.
dinner.
Because I probably bought it.
Well, let's
Okay.
Boom.
let's talk about the other side of the coin too. That something that I've seen a lot traveling and helping men is say for example you're in a very small town. It could be a farm town, America or something, and so you have a young gentleman that's starting to explore fashion. He's getting off of the farm and stuff, and he wants to go out, and so he goes. He's 21 now. He's going to the little 4-bar strip or whatever in town to go to the bars and stuff, and he wants to dress up nicely. But what you see a lot of times is there could be women and they could be dressed to the nines. They could, just anywhere right here, the same type of attire that you'd see a woman wear if she was really trying to look presentable. You could still see in small town America with the women. However, those women don't want to see a man dressed like you guys are talking about. They want to see a man in blue jeans and boots and
Right.
a flannel shirt. And so that's something that's really interesting as well too, because in other parts of the country I've noticed where women kind of always have the same style of fashion regardless of where you are in the country. Men, even if they're more interested and they want to dress up to impress a woman, that doesn't always impress a woman. Sometimes Wranglers and a dip can or something is what
Well, there's a
impresses women.
country way of dressing up
Yeah,
too,
there
because
is.
there's like a
Yeah.
country code. Like when
Yeah.
I'm from the South, there's like the DC of the South, which is John Deere. Like we have our own country way of. There's like a Nashville way of making it look right. What I mean?
A lot of
Their
that-
jeans are $200. Like
A lot of it is
They
social
still in suit and tie.
constructs. Social constructs. People are raised into that. They've learned to identify with that. So and when it comes to fashion, men tie their identity to clothing a lot. So masculinity, a man's veritable masculinity would be tied to his ability to work and wear jeans, and I don't do that, and this is how I'm gonna dress, and fuck it, kind of attitude. And I talk about that in my book,
Right.
which we just re-released, by the way. So you can get that on Amazon.
just throwing it in there.
Yeah. No, my publicist is like, you gotta pitch it, you gotta push it. So I'm like, all right. So yeah, we just republished it. But when it comes down to it, like a lot of guys, like there's so many issues when it comes to fashion because men start to attach their identity to it. They dress one way, they start dressing that way, they never stop.
True.
And on that one day, like your Sunday best or whatever, they're feeling uncomfortable the whole day. They're literally just like, because they don't know how to make their clothes fit. They look in the mirror and they're like, oh my God, I look like crap. And they probably do because they never found a tailor. They don't know what that is. They don't understand how to actually dress well. And they've never actually taken the time to go, oh, wow, so this is how you do it. And like dressing well can be expensive. It can be awkward. It can be hard. It's
Right.
not exactly an easy thing. So, you go to Walmart, you get 25 pair $25
Dressing like an eighth grader, ain't he? Like dressing like he's getting ready to start 8th grade. Shut up.
But
like,
nowadays,
Target clothes.
it's cool because we've actually we're evolving and innovating on fashion and style so fast that everything is kind of getting its own thing. So like personally, there are certain fashion choices that I just hate like flat out, like flannel. I fucking hate it. I hate it with like. But
No, watch your mouth now.
But I grew up in Maine. No. So look, I grew up in Hicktown, USA.
Hey, listen, when you tie one around your waist, it connects at your booty. You watch your mouth now.
No, but see, I don't hate flannel on women. I just think it looks horrible on men. Like that's just not like lumberjack. Like that's go get it, Paul Bunyan. But that's like for me, that's all I saw growing up. So I hate it. However, flannel's making a comeback, and they've got these new nice flannel dress shirts.
Yeah, the lumbersexual.
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
lumbersexual.
I like that. That's
Never
a
heard
good
of
one.
that
No,
one.
it's not.
I've
No, it's
never
not.
heard of lumber
You're so
sexual.
salty, Jared.
No.
Lumber.
Because lumbersexual is a deviation of metrosexual, which is again a very stupid fucking term created by a person with an agenda. So we at the Modern Male Movement do not adhere to metrosexual.
No.
And lumbersexual, ubersexual, like all these different,
What about hetero-questionable?
deviation?
Questionable.
All of these
What
different
about when a
deviation.
guy's pants are saggy and you can see the butt crack? Is that plumber sexual?
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. Is I don't
that's just
agree with the
wrong.
words. I just like the fact that I have a term for what it is now. You know what I mean? Like, again, we said metrosexual earlier when a girl says it can be derogatory. Same thing with this. It's just interesting that we now have a word for it.
Basically, one really smart person tricked the entire world into believing something and was laughing at all of their stupidity. And then other stupid people who write online came and went, oh my God, Metro, well, Metro's dead. So let's like reinvent it. Oh, we're going to go ubersexual, lumbersexual. Oh, fuck it. So they just start like popcorn and it completes this like sarcosis of ignorance. And I'm just like, no, fucking no. I will strangle all of you. No more using those terms. It's done.
The modern man is just well dressed.
Jerod has spoken. The gospel according to Jerod. Thanks
Whatever
be to
happened
God.
to, if you think about aristocrats back in the day and just in general, like where we've come from and just people always dressed their best. They always tried to be as clean as they could. They always tried to wear their Sunday best was, unless they were out like in the fields or something, like getting crops or something, that they were always trying to be their best selves. And now it's like.
It's the opposite of that.
It is. And you're like put in a box. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I first tried to learn
People
about
don't want to be
fashion.
try hard, so like try less, do less, and it's funny because women actually started responding to that a little bit.
That
so
shit's expensive, like Kanye. Like look
women-
what he's doing. He's saturating it with all these sweatshirts and everything else too, isn't he? It's like a
well,
thing.
Well, so this is where we're going to get into with modern female, is that women are actually kind of responsible for a lot of the bad fashion trends. Don't get me wrong, media figures are partly responsible too, and then paid advertising and sponsors and all that stuff. That's a huge factor. But the fact that women let men get away with dressing badly and still respond to that, or respond more to a guy that seems like he doesn't care, is what's promoting and propagating the bad fashion trends.
I can
in
agree
this
with that,
world.
and here's why I can agree with
Your
that,
fault.
because I can also hey now I said okay already, damn. So I can agree with that because I can also say that you guys propagate girls who are like the whole dumb blonde mentality because y'all act like y'all like that sometimes, and I can say that we both perpetuate some bad stereotypes among the sexes sometimes, depending on where we are in our journey. So
What are we talking about?
I will
blondes now?
take that and give you one back. Like I
talking
see
about
that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, like maybe like we don't say as much. Like we'll dress up more. We're more willing to make sure our guy doesn't cheat because that's way more willing for like a guy to cheat than it is a girl, right? So we're more willing to make sure we're dressed up and like.
Do you think it's the main reason why women dress up?
We gonna talk about it again? You want to do this again? Because my answer ain't changed.
Is that also why you guys are okay with men kind of looking like slobs and not working out anymore when you're in a relationship because you don't want them to be prime when they go out with their guy friends?
I've got an answer to that. I had an ex-boyfriend who got out of shape, and he was never nicer to me than when he was out of shape. His attitude, his behavior, everything changed, and he was just a nice guy. But when he was all like, oh, I got a 6-pack or 12-pack, whatever, he was such an asshole.
No, the guy I'm talking to right now, he has a great body. He's phenomenal looking, and I think it's incredible. He's an alpha male, too, and I think that that's great. He keeps in prime shape, and that's a beautiful thing. I don't want him to feel insecure. I want him to feel secure when he goes out. Women should want to look at him. That's a compliment for him. I don't want him to feel uncomfortable, so not at all.
But you're a secure woman,
That's
and
right.
a lot of women are
Yeah,
insecure.
that's right.
What you want me to do with that? Like,
I want you to meet more women and get a bigger collective understanding and be like, oh, I can understand what it would be like to be insecure if I were like that.
because he fine as hell, too. I can't leave it off my mind now that I talked about it.
Okay,
I'm
calm
sorry, I'm
down,
done.
calm down. No
Okay.
smell trails in the studio. So what do you guys think is like the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to dressing well? Let's go like one most important thing, tips.
For me, just understanding where you're going and your audience.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's that. So I dress accordingly to my audience.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm going to a sports bar, I dress accordingly. Still fly, but
Yeah.
I won't put on a suit to go to a sports bar. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that's trying too hard.
Right,
That's doing
I agree
too
with
much.
I agree with you.
But will I have on a nice pair of jeans, cool, Nikes and a cool shirt? Yeah, I will. But I still will stand out even within the context of
Right.
what everybody else
You'll
is
be looking
doing.
straight Jay-Z, won't you?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, you just have to understand that. And the things for me that's worked to my advantage and the people that I teach is about being comfortable and also having enough choices within your repertoire. Like I told you, I said I could probably come to your closet and just start pulling stuff and putting stuff together, probably different than you see them.
Yeah.
And making it work and saying, look at these 5 different
We're
things.
gonna have to have a closet day.
Yeah.
It'd just be interesting.
Yeah.
And
You're gonna go in the closet.
as a male, like we are naturally predisposed to be conditional or to be creatures of habit. So when we get into a certain pattern of like, oh, this goes with this goes with that.
Oh yeah.
It'll stay that way
We're
forever.
Animals. We're animals. Yeah.
And and it's like it's really really interesting to watch somebody else come over. Or like I'll let somebody borrow some of my clothing, and they'll kind of put their own outfit together. I'm like, damn, that looks good. Like you got that out of my closet. Like what the?
I own this shit. Good. Will you take a picture of yourself? Take a selfie. I need to remember that.
So what do you think, Ashley?
To be honest with you, he brings up a good point, and there's tons of different occasion stuff. But I feel like you start down a path where there's just a million variables at that point. I think the most important thing is learning to dress for your body type and your coloring for your body type. I think, because it doesn't matter what you wear, whether you're going to a tennis match or whatever you're doing, or you're going to some big wine and dine. Like the point is that whatever it is that you're wearing should be fitting and it should be for your body type, and that you shouldn't be wearing coloring. Like I know I can't wear green. Green is just an awful for my complexion. It makes me look like I'm sick.
I see that.
And I never knew that until, I took a few moments of my time one week and spent some time with somebody that knew and educated me. Like, look, if you're really sick, this color will make you not look sick, And I think just taking a little bit of time just to educate yourself on your own body, regardless of what it is that you want to wear, will already make you look better.
Gives you a name.
Interesting.
What do you think, Jerod? Since you said interesting, so crazy.
I think that I've never heard that before, and I was like, really? I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Like I didn't even think about matching your clothes to your complexion.
Oh yeah, that's very important. Yeah,
interesting.
There are certain colors that we have certain colors in our skin. So certain like him, when he said green, I can see it, and if he put it again, he's gonna look washed out. He's gonna look like he's
I wear a lot of
straight.
pink because I think I have a naturally kind of a pink complexion. So
You do have a pink hue.
I can't wear orange. I can't wear orange.
I just hate the color orange in general. Like orange and red. I hate both those
I
colors.
say red's one of my power colors.
Is it?
It's one of mine too.
I can wear red and orange.
I mean, I'm from Alabama, so it has to be. I ain't got no choices.
I'm just like, I can't even stand like seeing the color red. Like people, I'm like, Toro, go away. like I can't do it. So what do you got? What are your like top 3 favorite places to shop, and what are your top 3 places to shop?
Wow, that's kind of interesting because I shop all over the place. So
for let's say for a listener out there who wants a kind of intro into fashion and something that's going to be cost effective for him.
Okay. That has classic styling. I'd say just right off the like Zara. It's a good medium place, meaning level price wise, and they have classic styling. So. H&M and Forever 21, those I call them fast fashion. They're recycled. They move in and out so fast, so the trends go really quick, and they're kind of really young. So if you're looking for something a bit more classic and a little more upscale, I'd say start at just Zara, and you can just go through their walls. They have it all together, and you can pick from their stuff. That's a great place that I educate to start.
Okay. Awesome.
I mean, I would trust his judgment. I'm nowhere near a men's fashion expert, but one thing that I do tell men is that and me personally, I don't have like a one go-to website. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit from everywhere. I think what's the most important thing is whether you go to like Express or Banana or H&M or something, is to spend time with the sales associate, because their favorite thing to do is to dress you up like a mannequin. You know what I mean? Because they never get that opportunity. That's a really quick, easy, cheap way that you could learn about your body style. But the main thing that I think is important is first, like, start with basic, like a white V-neck, things that you can use to mix and match that can go a long distance. And when it's something like a white V-neck, an H&M V-neck for $5 or what, nobody will know it's not Armani. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spend your money on accessories, on your watches, things like that, your shoes. So to me, it's like, I try to stay away from the Chinese companies, although it's just I don't like buying something
Those-
that
yeah, that's so cheap.
Well, it's cheap and you don't know how it's going to fit. You're trying to convert.
It's like 4 sizes too small.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But I mean, if you just go to like any basic mall just to get your normal, like I said, like a black V-neck or something like that, to me, I don't really think it matters. Just make sure it fits you.
Right.
Just spend your money if you're just starting, on a wardrobe. Spend your money on your shoes, on your blazers, on your watches. Spend your money there. Everything else, just make sure that it fits and it's for your body style.
Yeah.
I agree.
I would have said the exact same thing. Zara, H&M are 2 of my top favorites. And then, what is the other one?
What about Nordstrom Rack? And then you
Nordstrom
can take
Rack.
your girl there
Nordstrom
too.
Rack.
She
Well,
can go
They
through
will
the
dress you
shoes.
there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Are you still going?
What?
I thought I cut you off. I was like,
Oh, no. I was just saying Nordstrom Rack because, I love Nordstrom Rack. It's always
Yeah.
a good time when you can both shop. And it's not, the other place would be like H&M and Forever 21 where they have the guys and the girls section, short of going to a department store. And then you're in completely different levels of
Yeah.
department. Nordstrom Rack's a good one because it's a one level. So it's kind of interactive. You can both shop.
Well, another important thing I think that needs to be said, this is really important, and this is one of the reasons why I shy away from saying go to this store. Because one, let's say Aeropostale, for example, the way that their jeans are cut, it could be like I wear 30-30. So I could go to Express for a 30-30 jean, and I could get a 30-30 jean at Aero, and they literally will not be anywhere the same on my body. So it's really important that people go out, and that's why they learn about their body style and find, like me, Aero works really well for me. It's embarrassing because it's like a high school brand, but those jeans
I'm
work
not
really well
fixing
for
to
me.
lie to y'all. It's so good to hear y'all have the same struggle we do when we shop. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we go to the junior department, we have to go walk away frowning like they doesn't fit anymore over there, and then you have to go. Like it's so good.
I
to hear y'all have
really
the
just
same
wish like
struggle.
one brand could get it right, like 100%. Like you could just go in, and,
Yeah.
but it's such a common thing, and that's one of the things that like one of my main tips is like, look, you're not gonna get a full wardrobe from one store.
No.
You go in, you find a
Yeah.
piece you like, and then you go to the next store because everything else, like, find the one thing that you like that's awesome, and just know that everything else in that store is shit. It's not gonna fit you. It's gonna suck. Go get your jeans at the jean store. Go get your blazer at the place that has good blazers or whatever. The only place that I found an exception to that rule is Zara.
Yeah.
Zara, I think, hands down, all the way around, is one of the top places to go. And coincidentally, Zara was the highest grossing global fashion line in the world.
Really?
Yeah. It made something like obscene, like $500 billion. Like it easily eclipsed every other store that was selling fashion. Yeah. One of Zara's tricks, their tips, is that they go in and they see a style that's really great and they replicate it, they brand it themselves, and so you're always like right on trend. It might not be Armani, but it's gonna run you $50 as opposed to $500.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I have a lot of Zara in my wardrobe. And Zara is one of those things where it's like, man, sometimes you can tell if it's like H&M, sometimes you can tell if it's, but Zara, you can't tell. You can never tell.
Right.
It always looks clean. It always looks good. Like that is one of my favorite stores. And an added trick, because not only is Zara cheap normally, but you can go, Zara's always kind of like, their fashion is always, they're rotating. So like, they'll have something for a season or whatever, and then it's out, it's gone. But you can always go in during the months that like I go in and buy my winter stuff in summer, and it's like you walk out of there, you spend $200, and you're like, oh, I'm good for the entire winter. Like I've got everything I need. So so do you guys have any other tips, tricks, anything else that you want to?
I like what you said about definitely know your body type and try a lot of different things, but also find a tailor.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to a blazer, even if you're getting it from Zara and you spend that extra $30 just to get something taken in a tucked or pulled, then it really becomes personally yours because now it's custom to you. So I think that's really important. Most men don't use the tailor method, and that's really important. So everyone always asks where you get your stuff. This is tailored. The shirt isn't, but the pants are well, they're custom. But but a lot of the stuff I get, even if I buy it inexpensive, I'll take it to my tailor and I'll say, I just want this taken in, or what can we do to make this fit better? And that's really where I get the compliments from, is the fit.
Yeah. Fit is everything. Cut is everything.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me when it came to fashion was I would look at guys dressed nice and I'd go, oh, wow, I want to look like that. And then I would go buy the stuff and I'd be like, whoa, this looks like shit on me. And I never connected the dots. I was never like, oh, they get their stuff professionally cut to fit them. Yeah. And it's just like there's so many guys out there that I know for a fact that they are missing that point because you see them walking by and their pants are so baggy that they're flopping around and they've got, and their jacket doesn't really fit them. And every time they move, it's like their cuffs are, everything's moving around on them. And it's like, oh God, dude, for like $30, that would fit you for the rest of your life. Yep. And that's the other thing is that tailoring is extremely cheap.
Yep.
And I never would have thought that.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than most people think. And I mean, you can go to the tailor from your cleaners, because some will go like, well, where do I find a tailor? And I go, your cleaners. Yeah. Your cleaners, they have a tailoring system. So you just go in, you say, can you taper this in or whatever? Even your shirts, they can dart them in the back. They just fold the stuff over, sew it down, and it fits your body better. Yeah. I mean, it's easy. So while you're getting it cleaned, you get it tailored too. And now you have a custom shirt to you. Yeah. It's that simple.
And it's motivation to not gain weight.
Yeah, that too. That is definitely very important to me.
It's so good to hear y'all have the same struggles we do. Like I feel like I'm sitting in a guy's night
I just blame the dryer for shrinking my clothes. That's
me
my
too.
Thing.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't because I'm in denial about everything else. But I think something that really is actually important for any of your listeners that either are new into fashion or they're kind of old school, like I was brought up because I was from a very small farm town too, and when I was little, and so I used to think things like spending money on shoes, for example, was just stupid, and who would do that, and why would you spend $60 on a pair of jeans, that kind of thing. Yeah. I've come to learn, and I think this is something that men really need to understand, is that when you're spending $200, $300, $400, $500 on say, for example, a pair of shoes, there's a reason for that. If you get a pair of shoes at Walmart for like $10, for example, I mean, it might last you a couple of weeks, and then it's falling apart. When you're buying real, like handmade, genuine leather, I mean, it's going to be there. And then all you do is you take it back to the cobbler and get it resold, and you have it for the rest of your life. Yes. And so there's certain things that people just think, oh, well, you're just dumb for spending that money. It's all it is a label. No, there actually is a difference in the quality, and it will last so much longer. Yeah,
there is. I mean, that's definitely important with my shoes. I want to spend a little more than just, again, fast fashion. Some things I will buy. Some things I just go, this will be fun. It's cool. I know it's temporary. But the things like my dress shoes, I'm going to spend money on them because I want that cap toe wingtips. Those are traditional shoes that's going to be around.
They transcend all time.
They've been around since the 20s, or 1800s. Right. So in this same style, a little bit different variation of leathers and what have you. But they're shoes that you can, if you take care of them for the rest of your life, you can have them.
Nice. What do you think, Leah?
I'm just such a dude. I'm over here like, yeah, it's just a lot like fishing. I mean, if you have a sapling and a string, don't be surprised if you catch bottom feeders. But if you go in with like a rod and a reel, you can cast out to the entire pond and catch something real nice. It's the same thing. I'm such a dude. Like I have so many problems. But I mean, that's just what I'm thinking.
That's a really good example.
Hey, I mean, you want to be able to have some options out there. You don't want to just drop and be like, all right, whatever I catch right here. You want to give yourself a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and that's the exact. It's
Get
funny.
a good jig.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you must have read my book because I literally use the exact same example.
There you go again with that book.
Yeah. No, because I talk about in the book more for grooming.
But I have, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. You finally read it?
When you act like I hadn't read it before. It's my favorite. Yes, I've read your book.
Okay, good. So when it comes to grooming and stuff, I think that's really important, hygiene. And I relate that idea to fishing. And we talk about, it's not the lure that, glides through the water better. It's not the lure that looks bigger. It's not the lure that's shinier. It's the lure that looks more like something the fish wants to eat. And, I tell guys, I'm like, design yourself like something that she wants to put in her mouth. I mean, right. That sounds like something you would say, actually.
I just looked at her.
No, like swipe right. Nope.
I think it's left is the nope. Swipe right is the match.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the app.
Just match to me.
Ugh.
But yeah. And when it comes to fashion, I use an example. If you walked up to a girl with a beat to hell box wrapped in dirty newspaper, it smelled like urine, and you said, "Hey, there's something really valuable inside. I want you to believe me." you're going to want to open this box. She's going to look at the box. She's going to smell it. She's going to go, no way. Yeah. But if you walk up with a box that's perfectly wrapped and has a great presentation, she's going to go, oh, I wonder what's inside that. You know, and sadly,
it makes a big difference.
A lot of they used to be, I think generations previously I think that the reason that the whole gentleman thing kind of like lost its steam for a while was because being well dressed was actually an indication that you were kind of a tool or a douchebag, or you came from privilege.
Yeah, or you were a nerd even.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think like too, like you're talking about dressing well. Like I think the Great Depression had a huge effect on fashion, because then like the poor man's clothes became kind of a style right after then. Because if you think about like right before then, everyone was really dressed into the nines, and then all of a sudden that happened, and then you see jeans kept happening. That's when jeans were really kind of coming out. So I think that
I'm thinking more of the 80s actually, like. In the 80s, when you think back to those archetypes of the, guys in polo shirts and shorts and stuff, they were kind of like atypically.
That was a lot for me. I've seen some pictures. Like there was some like really close calls to balls falling out. Like, shorts. Holy shit! Like one jig left and you're done, sir.
Yeah.
Your babies. Ugh.
But I think that maybe it's just through the media. Maybe it was just entirely that. But that was, that kind of like white privilege, kind of like.
It was called preppy.
In
the 80s, it was preppy, and there was a kind of demographic, if you will.
It's called scary.
They were well-to-do, and they dressed a certain way. They wore Izod, they wore penny loafers, there were certain types of clothing they wore. They had a certain type of look. They wore brighter colors, and they were assholes.
Is that just like
they were assholes.
Yeah, it's just like that same, like the OJ trial that happening right now. It reminds me of that time period right there when everyone's dressing just like that. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that show? Mm-hmm. And you know how everyone was dressing with those. That's exactly what the time period I'm thinking
maybe
of.
their balls were so like constrained. They needed air. So maybe that's why they were so mean and mad. I don't know if I had.
Maybe that's why our generation's so fucked up. Is because
if I had to dress in shorts, I'd have an attitude too.
Ugh, it's so stressful to think about. Like maybe that's why we're all messed up. It's because our generation was in those balls. You know what I mean? Like we're all scrunched up in there, all angry.
Oh my god!
It's just all messed up. Oh my gosh, there's so much good and bad. Sarah, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, being like in the 80s mode, like you were talking about, all the movies back then with all the preppy Ivy League, like country club stereotypes.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people shied away from those looks for a long time. And then it came back.
Oh, with Clueless and everything, right?
Pop culture started, I mean, there were all kinds of like bad negative vibes with the dad jeans, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, those are horrid.
And
but
then
now, like,
such a tragedy.
Came back in.
The what?
The hipster movement. All the hipsters. All that neon, all those hoodies, and all that weird stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like hipsters is becoming more mainstream than its own little.
Right.
There's.
Well, what even is a hipster anymore? A hipster used to be the guys wearing like the little Dora Explorer hats with the and they all have the beards.
You know
and
what?
Kind of grubby.
I hate that because who the hell y'all Fedora the Explorer? Relax.
No, not Fedora. The fedoras are different culprits. Actually, a lot of the pickup stuff. I don't know.
Not sexual.
But no, fedora was horrible. But I'm talking about the actual big like campers hats. Like I'm Camper Joe. And
also not sexual.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what. Like I'm attracted to, like, when I tell you like the top 5 people I was attracted to, they all have different styles. So I'm not attracted to one style. I'm attracted to whoever is themselves genuinely. That transpires in their clothing as well as how they act. So it's like, that's a huge deal to me. Is I don't really like someone who follows a trend and is on point. I like someone who is wearing something that's true to them and maybe staying with style, but like you can tell they're still staying themselves and they're comfortable enough in who they are to stick with what they know. It looks good on them.
And that is the key.
That is the key. That is to be.
Oh, DJ Khaled, give him another one.
that is the key, to be a trendsetter and follow your path and not someone else's. So I don't follow trends; they follow me.
He better work.
Well, on that note, I think we can close out the show. So we'll start here. Where can people find you? What have you got to promote?
ModernGentlemanSociety.com is pretty much going to be the key to everything. I mean, so we're tied into all kinds of stuff all over the place. Got all kinds of things going on. Obviously, radio and magazines and DVDs and books and all kinds of things. So it can get really confusing. So the central hub would just go to ModernGentlemanSociety.com, and then from there you'll be able to get everything you need to know about us.
Perfect.
Okay, and we're stylingthemodernman.com. We're actually a mobile app, and we are tips and tricks from giving you expert instruction about how to dress as the modern gentleman.
And I have the app. It's actually very, very,
Thank you.
very informational.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's just me and Instagram, Leah Pelka. Like, anything going on right now. Like, we have
You always make it so awkward. It's like pulling teeth to get you to promote
so sorry.
yourself.
Well, it's like I feel like I'm
You need
cool.
more followers, woman.
Well, my bad. It's okay. So I don't work on it like that. Like, it ain't like that. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's.
She's
at
like,
Leah
yeah, I
Pelka.
low-key like don't have social media, but I do have social media.
I do like listen. I just don't like. It's so like it takes so much from me. Like, I have Twitter and Instagram. I'm debating on a Snapchat still. It's in the 30-day period. I don't know yet.
Well, the thing with Snapchat is there's no finding functionality.
No, it's the thing
Right.
with people. Ew. Like, I'm just
So
like
it's
I like
like
to,
you get people to discover you from other platforms, and you can direct them all to Snapchat. And I think girls like Snapchat because it's kind of disposable, so the quality of their work never matters. And they're like, oh well, if I look like shit, it doesn't matter. So it takes a lot of the pressure off of them to like always be perfect. But at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck would I get a Snapchat when I'm already working on all of these other social media platforms? I'm like,
I
just
hate
one
taking
more way to
selfies
be
and, like,
narcissistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I hate taking selfies, and like I had the nude art up, and then like guys were like in my DM, like erotic DM, okay, motherfucker, no, it's not okay. Like, what you mean? I'm tired of y'all. So it's just that's why I'm like, ugh, social media. I'd rather just not. So, but okay, at Leah Pelka, Instagram and Twitter.
All right, and
We're
Sarah.
considering.
And everybody can stalk me at Sarah Beth Harris, or just prank call me because I like to call you too.
And you can find us now. So all my social media links have changed. It is now modernmaleinc.com. My Instagram is modernmalinc, and my Twitter is modernmalinc. So everything is modernmalinc across the board, modernmalinc. And I have a brand new website that we just set it up, so modernmalinc.com. And get my book. We just re-released it. It's on Amazon now. It's called Methodology of the Modern Male. That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.